What is going on, everybody? The NBA and Adam Silver are in shambles tonight, baby. Come on now. And it's all thanks to Tyrese Halliburton and Naz Reid, baby. Come on now. This is a great day for NBA basketball, unless you're a Knicks fan or a Nuggets fan. And if that is one, if any Knicks fans or Nuggets fans are watching this, go cry your way to Cancun, baby. I know Sixers, we've been in Cancun. We were in Cancun every year. It's a beautiful place. Come on, stop down by. It's a great time down in Cancun. Glad to have you guys there. But yeah, that game 7, Minnesota and Denver, are you kidding me? That was fantastic basketball. The Nuggets agenda did not the refs Nuggets agenda did not prevail. Let's go, baby. And that Pacers Knicks game, there were a lot of injuries. I know Knicks fans are going to turn into 49ers fans and say, we would have won this series if it weren't for all the injuries. But tell Tom Thibodeau to not run your starters into the ground next season, and maybe you would have won that series. So, yeah, overall, at least for me, fantastic day for basketball. The teams that I wanted to win, they both won. Let's go, baby. Let's get right into it. So, yeah, we're going to start off talking about this Pacers Knicks beatdown, baby. Last video, I said the Knicks were going to win game 7, but boy, was I happy to be wrong. Oh, yeah, baby. Let's talk about these Knicks. I feel bad for OG Anunoby, man. This guy, he willed his ass off to try to play this game. He started off 2 for 2, but he just couldn't go in this game, man. Like, he rushed himself back. He just wasn't ready. It's a shame for the Knicks, man. I mean, the game would have been much closer if Anunoby was his healthy self. I still think the Pacers would have won because the Pacers are like that. Isaiah Hartenstein, he was more like Isaiah Fartenstein today, bruh. Like he was a nobody today. Like 0 for 2. He was his floater shot, the one that was automatic against the Sixers. He was passing that up like he was Ben fucking Simmons, dude. Isaiah Fartenstein was not in his bag today. Another guy you got to feel for though is Jalen Brunson. Like this guy willed the Knicks to where they were today. He willed them past the Sixers and he willed them to game 7 against Indiana, man. Like this guy tried his ass off. Shout out to Jalen Brunson for having a fantastic season. I mean, he was in his bag all season, just not today, man. I know he fractured his hand, but he wasn't having a good game before that. But once he fractured his hand, it was over for the Knicks, man. They once he came out of the game, it was over. Same thing with Josh Hart. Shout out to Josh Hart, man. This guy has been playing his ass off this postseason. He's been playing through injury. The dude can barely catch a breath on the sideline without hurting himself because of his abdomen. And like that is a true fucking warrior right there. So shout out to Josh Hart. Shout out to Brunson. Shout out to Hart. Shout out to Anunoby for trying to play through. And shout out to Dante DiVincenzo for actually showing up for the Knicks. He was the only guy, granted, Knicks were riddled with injuries, but DiVincenzo was the only guy to show up. So shout out to DiVincenzo. Dropping 39, that was impressive. I mean, he was dropping threes. And if he got help from one or two more guys, Knicks could have won this game. I'm not saying, or they could have made it close. I don't think they would have won, but they could have made it a pretty close game. Like there was a point in that second half, it was down to like 6. The Knicks were rolling, but couldn't get it done. Precious Achua, he was just kind of a guy out there. No rebounds in 28 minutes. God, that's terrible. And how tall is Precious Achua? Granted, my Wi-Fi slow as hell. 6'8", and you have no rebounds. That's pathetic, man. Precious Achua reverting back to his old Raptors days, bro. Fun fact: I'm a Sixers fan. I hate the Raptors. Probably second least favorite team behind Boston, but I respect the hell out of how good Boston was, and I love Nick Nurse. So shout out to Toronto for that. Yeah, no really notable guys. Deuce McBride sucked in this game, man. If you needed a guy like Deuce McBride to step up because Brunson didn't have it even before he got hurt. Anunoby goes out because he just couldn't. And then Josh Hart with the abdomen injury, he can't even breathe on the sideline without hurting his stomach. It's like, damn, you need someone to step up. It wasn't Deuce McBride, but you know who did? Sixer legend Alec Burks, man, he's in his bag today. I mean, you gotta shout out Alec Burks, man. This guy and DiVincenzo were the only two guys who showed up for the Knicks. So shout out to them. Alec Burks was just hitting shots, man. Like he was a bucket today. I mean, flat and simple, plain and simple. Like Alec Burks was balling. Like you ain't ever see Alec Burks ball like this, like ever. But this dude just kicked it up another gear. If the Knicks somehow were to have found a way to win this game, like Alec Burks would go down in Knicks history, like Knicks legend history. Like it doesn't matter how shit you play, like from here on out. He still got that game 7. But like what could have been, man? The Knicks fell flat on their face. If it weren't for injuries, this game would have been a lot closer. I still think the Pacers would have won though. So yeah, Knicks. Cry about your injuries like the 49ers, but I think you would have still lost this game. Yeah. Let's move on to the actual winners of this game. The ones who deserve to win this series and won this game. The Indiana Pacers, man. I couldn't be happier for this group of guys going to the Eastern Conference Finals up against the Boston Celtics. It's gonna be a fun matchup, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Let's hop right into it. Pascal Siakam, he set the tone of this game early, man. Like he dropped 20, but he had like 11 or 12, or he had over half of his points in the first quarter. He really got the ball rolling for the Pacers. Really got him going. How about Aaron Nesmith going 8 for 8? This guy was, if I recall, he was one of the weaker links in the Knicks game 6. But this guy stepped up big today and he was in his bag. Miles Turner was, I mean, like this is a theme with the Pacers. When they win, like everyone is in their bag. I mean, not a single guy outside of maybe Obi Toppin, because he had like an air ball in this game. Obi Toppin was not feeling it in game 7 today. But outside of Obi Toppin, I feel like everyone who got meaningful minutes for the Pacers kind of stepped up in their own way. Like Neesmith 8 for 8 was just an absolute dog today. Got into foul trouble, but I mean that's what Aaron Neesmith does. He's a hard-nosed defender. I mean, he's in his bag. Miles Turner grabbing some rebounds, huge blocks in this game, man. He was blocking the shit out of people. Siakam had that clutch block at the end of the third. It looked like the momentum was shifting towards the Knicks. Pascal Siakam said absolutely not and blocked the hell out of. I forget who it was. I think it might have been Deuce McBride, I think, or it was Jalen Brunson, one of the two. Like, yeah, shout out Pascal Siakam, man, setting the tone, getting some good defensive stops as well. Andrew Nemhart, 8 for 10. Like the Pacers are just so fucking efficient, dude. They were so efficient today. I mean, they shot like 76% in the first half. I think that's the most efficient a team's ever been in a half, or like in general in a playoffs. Like 67%. That is just so fucking efficient, dude. Like everyone was contributing on this Pacers team except for Obi Toppin. Sorry, Obi Toppin. You were in your bag a bunch of games in the series, but today was just not your day. Andrew Nemhard, 20 points, like just solid from these guys. I mean, he was -2, but like I would say overall he did a good job guarding Brunson. Granted, Brunson was hurt, but still he did a good job. He didn't let Brunson have like a flu game type game where he just locked in, even though he was like injured like crazy. So shout out Nemhard. Halliburton was aggressive in this game. That's what I said. If the Pacers were gonna win, Halliburton needed to be aggressive. He needed to take a lot of shots, and he took the most shots out of anyone on the team. So shout out to Tyrese Halliburton, man, coming the second coming of Reggie Miller, breaking hearts in the garden. Blah, blah. Yeah, Knicks fans, come join us in Cancun, baby. And the Nuggets, come and join us in Cancun. It's fucking awesome game. Awesome game for the Pacers, man. Outside of Obi Toppin, everyone was in their bag. Isaiah Jackson, he really came in the fourth and gave him some energy with, I mean, like, he didn't grab that many rebounds, but he was just tipping the ball, like getting his hands in, just hustling, man. Like, that's what you want Isaiah Jackson to do. And he was doing that. TJ McConnell, he was the biggest dog today. And overall, I think he was the biggest dog in this series. I know Hart got hurt, but even when they were healthy, like TJ McConnell was being a dog. I mean, this dude was out dogging everyone in this series. Like, shout out TJ McConnell, man. Sixers miss you every single day. Like, I don't know what to say. That one inbound steal that went to like a dunk, I think it was a Neesmith dunk or something on Brunson. That was fucking awesome. And that took the life out of MSG. And that's a hard place to take the life out of. So shout out TJ McConnell for being a big contributor to that. Ben Shepherd also had a solid game, +10, 2 for 3 from the field. I mean, like, he just kind of did his thing. I mean, yeah, not much for Ben Shepherd to do, but when he came in, he was efficient. Shout out Ben Shepherd. Just like the whole Pacers team minus Obi Toppin, they were all efficient in this game. was awesome to watch for the Pacers, man. They're back in the Eastern Conference Finals. Indy is back, baby. They are locked in. Yeah, this game was fantastic. It could have been better if it weren't for injuries. I still think the Knicks would have lost it just because the Pacers were so damn efficient. Like, but yeah, shout out Pacers, man. Shout out to the Knicks as well. They had a good season this year. I mean, they were what, the 5 seed last year, and now they were like the 2 seed this year. Granted, injury, you could argue that injuries and like bad coaching from the Bucks made them but the Knicks capitalized on their opportunity, and you can't fault them for that. So it was a good season for New York. I really think Tibbs cost them a lot in this series and season in general. Just playing their starters to the absolute ground. Like when they got a deep bench too, like look at this bench. I mean, like you look at this bench, compare this to the Sixers bench. Like all of these guys would be like the sixth man on the Sixers. Like, and then you throw Bojan Bogdanovic in there, Mitchell Robinson as well. Like, I mean, the Knicks season got significantly worse because of injuries, but I still think they would have lost to the Pacers, man, because the Pacers just be hustling. And Pacers got that dog in them and they play so fast. I think Tibbs really fucked him over. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if people are going to talk about that, but Tibbs did not help this team. He hurt this team when they helped him. I'm going to be honest. They hustled and Tibbs coaches hustled, but like he wore them to the ground. Anyways, shout out to the Pacers, man. Awesome to see. Now let's move on to the greatest game in the playoffs so far. Actually, maybe not the greatest. Maybe that Thunder game. That Thunder Mavs game is pretty damn good. And that Pacers Knicks game 3, whew, that was a fucking awesome game. But this game was pretty damn awesome. I'm not gonna lie. It looked like Denver was gonna run away with this one. What were they up at half? They were up like 15 and a half. Here comes Minnesota dogging their way back into this game because that's what Minnesota do, baby. Like they were in their bag. Let's talk about the losers, the Denver Nuggets first. Aaron Gordon, what was this guy doing today? He was doing nothing. He was being passive like Ben Simmons, dude. Like this dude's been money from three in this series. And Aaron Gordon is usually not a good 3-point shooter, but like this series, he's been knocking shit down. Like, I mean, Aaron Gordon has had no fear from three in this series. Hold on, let's check this. Let's check Aaron Gordon's 3-point percentage in the playoffs. It's very good compared to what it's been. So from three, he shot 29% this year. That's like terrible. Those are Westbrook numbers. But let's check out these playoff numbers. Hold on, let's see. Come on now. 3-point percentage, 40%. And he's shooting 2.5 a game. But in this series specifically, he shot more. And there were so many times where this dude was like wide open from three, and he just like didn't shoot it. Like, what were you doing in this game, Aaron Gordon? You were a nobody. Michael Porter Jr. has continued to disappoint in this series as well. This guy hasn't given you anything since like a while. Let's look at Michael Porter Jr. as well. Like this guy has been horrible in the postseason, and like everyone was saying, this guy. Remember a time when everyone was like, "This guy's the future of the Denver Nuggets." He's like the next KD or whatever the fuck they were calling him. It's been terrible. Stupid ass Wi-Fi. Let's see. Okay, 16.5. Yeah, this doesn't tell the whole story of the postseason. Let's see. Let's go into here. Let's go on stat. Shout out Basketball Reference and StatMoose for coming in clutch. Let's see. Stats by playoff game. Here we go. Let's see. I want to see because this dude has stunk the past few games. By game. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not the best. If you're watching this, my fault. I suck with technology, man. What's today? 19th? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. He was trash in this game. Yeah. Yeah. This guy has been trash for the last 4 games, and then he was like trash in game 2 as well. So 5 out of the 7 games, this guy has been super underwhelming. Like Michael Porter Jr., this is the guy that everyone would say, don't pass it to him because he ain't, or don't swing it to him because he ain't passing the rock. He's putting it up if he's got a look. But Michael Porter Jr. has been straight trash in this series. Like outside of those 2 games, and let's look. Game 1, they lost that game. Game 3, they won it. So he was a huge contributor in game 3, but game 1 didn't even result in the win. So yeah, Michael Porter Jr. has been trash. Jokic, the stats don't tell the whole story with Jokic. This dude was underwhelming in this game. I don't care what y'all say. Jokic was bricking. I mean, a lot of this has to do with Michael Malone not resting him at all in this game. I think Jokic, like Embiid, is a guy that needs to be rested in each half, or else he's just going to play like shit. And I mean, Michael Malone did not learn from his mistake, or Michael Malone didn't see that. He decided to play him the like almost the entire game, and it bit them in the ass. Jokic fought his ass off on the rebounds. I will say, like he was cooking the Timberwolves centers at times on those boards, like in the when he wasn't gassed. But by the fourth quarter, this dude was absolutely gassed. And I mean, you can't really fault him because a guy like Jokic with his build, I mean, let's be honest, he's not the most athletic guy out there, but like he's gonna get gassed, especially because he's not like an extreme athlete like guys like Jamal Murray or like Aaron Gordon or like Anthony Edwards. It's like this guy needs to rest every single half, and it's like that's not his fault. I mean, like that's just how it is. He's gotta get some minutes rest. Like, sure, he could have still played 42 minutes, but like I think if Jokic played less minutes in this game and got rest, the Nuggets would have actually had a better chance of winning this game. And that might be crazy to say because Jokic is the MVP. I mean, this guy's won the NBA championship last year, but like he needs his rest. Like, and I think that cost him. So you could argue that Michael Malone kind of cost him there. Jamal Murray, you can't fault him for this loss as well. He was cooking early. I mean, he had like 24 in the first half. Jamal Murray was in his bag. I mean, like he pretty much willed them to that 15-point lead at half. Like because once he started to like cool off a little bit, cool off like he had 11 points in the second half. It wasn't like he was terrible in the second half, but like he cooled off and the Timberwolves just fucking stormed back. Like that was crazy, dude. KCP kind of he's just a guy in this game. I mean, you really needed more from you should have gave more run to he should Michael Malone should have given more run to the especially taking Jokic out of this game and let him rest because he could have given you more down the stretch. But instead, it was just get free throw calls and miss fadeaway jumpers. I know he had a clutch, like he could only shoot threes down the stretch because this dude was gassed. He couldn't really drive or do anything. It's like you can't expect him to do that much when he's gassed, and he was totally gassed at the end of this game. But yeah, you needed more from the bench. Like Christian Brown tried, but I just think I don't know. I feel like the Nuggets could have went to the bench more in this game, especially with Jokic. Like I don't know. I think they should have pulled Jokic at some point in this game, and that could have given them a better opportunity to win. But anyways, that's enough about the Nuggets. Enjoy Cancun. We'll meet you down there, Jokic, and y'all will link up. Trust. Um, the Timberwolves, man. I am so proud of this team. Like the roller coaster that this team has had the world on is crazy. They go up 2-0 in Denver. Everyone's like, oh, they're sweeping the Nuggets. They're winning this series. Nuggets win three straight. Everyone's like, oh, it's so over for Minnesota. Denver's about to run them out of the water. They come in, they win that game six. And then in a game seven, do or die, they step up and they win. So shout out Minnesota. This has been fucking awesome to watch. Jaden McDaniels, Ant said it himself. This guy game ball for Jaden McDaniels. I mean, this guy continues to be a dog on defense. This guy is a fucking dog, and I love watching Jaden McDaniels. 23 points, 3 for 4 from three, and this guy hasn't been great from three in the playoffs. Let's look at Jaden McDaniels. Shout out basketball reference. Like this guy has not been hot from three in the playoffs, or at least in this Nuggets series. But game 6 and 7%, yeah, this guy's been terrible from three. He shot 75% today. So shout out to Jaden McDaniels. Rudy Gobert, I thought there were times where Rudy Gobert sucked in this game. I mean, he fouled out. He fouled like a million times in this game. I thought there were many times where Rudy Gobert could have been better. But down the stretch, he played some really good defense on Jokic. Granted, Jokic was tired, but he didn't let him have some kind of like legacy game or anything like that. So shout out Gobert in that aspect. I think if the Nuggets won this game and Jokic cooked, I would have slandered the shit out of Gobert in this game. But the Timberwolves won, so we don't have to do that. Karl-Anthony Towns, this guy was fantastic in the game. 23 points. I feel like early he really kept the Timberwolves in it, especially when Ant was not hot at all. Ant was cold. This was honestly Ant's like worst game of the post. Outside of maybe game 5, this was like Ant's worst game of the postseason. Like he was not in his bag. But Karl-Anthony Towns, although he didn't shoot well from three, this dude was driving to the cup. I mean, he was in his bag. Good on the rebounds as well. Like shout out Cat. I know he racked up some fouls, so he had to sit late and like they did really well without it. That was what won the Timberwolves the game. We'll get to that in a second because we're gonna talk about the guy that really sealed the game for him, Mike Conley. Not a lot of no turnovers from Mike Conley. And that's key. I mean, he's your ball handler. Can't be turning over the ball. He didn't turn over the ball. Wasn't very efficient, but he was from three. So shout out Mike Conley for hitting his threes. Dude's old and he still got it though. But yeah, Mike Conley, I mean, he was just out there. I mean, not turning over the ball. That's what you want your ball handler not to turn over the ball. So shout out Mike Conley. And I would have slandered the shit out of this guy too if the Timberwolves lost this game because you can't shoot 6 for 24 in a game seven. But they won. I mean, Ant was huge down the stretch. I mean, the guy was clutch in the second half. That wide, I mean, granted, it was a wide open three. The dude had been bricking threes all night. It was like, and this was when the Nuggets, or not the Nuggets, the T-Wolves went up like 7. I was watching the game with my family. We're like, slow the clock down, slow the clock down. Ant gets a wide open three. We're like, nah, pop that shit. And he fucking drills it, nothing but net. And you got to give credit to Ant. He is such a good teammate, man. Like, this dude is hyping up his teammates on the sideline. Like, I mean, the dude is such a good teammate, and he's only like 22, 23 years old. So shout out to Ant for like fighting through his struggles. And he still came up large at the end of this game, which was huge for Ant. I mean, the kid's a fucking dog. I mean, he's inconsistent, yes, but this is like his third season in the post, his third time in the post. So he's gonna give him time and he's gonna continue to grow. Kyle Anderson did not get a lot of run in this game. So yeah, he was just kind of there for like 4 minutes. But you know who won? You know who really like won this game for the Timberwolves? It wasn't Cat. It wasn't Ant. It wasn't Gobert. Maybe Jaden McDaniels a little bit, but Nas Reed, baby. Nas Reed was in his bag late. That fucking he was just giving it his all on the boards, and that man, it wasn't like he was grabbing the boards, but he was like tipping the ball, like getting his hands in there, just doing stuff, man. Nasri was working. He had that one dumb ass goaltend though, and I was like, if the Wolves lose this game by like 1, I am so blaming. I'm gonna have a few words for Nasri, but no, Nasri stepped up, man. Like the one where Ant shot the like transition three, and Nasri just runs out of nowhere and just fucking slams that shit down. That shit was so hype. I mean, shout out to Nasri, man. Like he was in his bag in the fourth because they had to take Cat out because he was in foul trouble. And in comes Nas Reed. It's like he's done it a million times. Just fucking steps up because he's a stud, man. Nikhil Alexander Walker, he kind of stunk in this game. I'm not gonna lie. Like, didn't make a single shot. Only recorded an assist. Yeah, was not Nikhil Alexander Walker's finest game. But the Timberwolves got it done, man. I'm really excited to see this team going forward. I think they can do some big things. I low key think they're gonna. I think they're gonna high key. I think they're gonna beat Dallas because it's like Jaden McDaniels guarding Luka Doncic. That is gonna be such a fun. You know those two are gonna be talking shit. Like especially if Luka starts whining to the refs. You know Jaden McDaniels is gonna start talking and like it's gonna become a chippy series and it's just gonna be about who wants more dog. But I'm not gonna get into it too much because I think I'm gonna do some videos talking about the Eastern Conference Finals matchups, like analyzing each matchup. But yeah, that's all for me. I know I yapped for a while. If you're still here, much love. I mean, I love y'all if you're still here. Shout out if you're still here watching this. But yeah, I'm just a yapper who don't know ball. Peace.